This is not just about two soldiers. This is about a bigger military realignment, a rivalry beyond geography. Just think about it. When was the last time Asian soldiers fought in a European war? Or Western military alliances focused on East Asia? Probably during the Second World War, but today we are seeing a repeat. Thousands of North Koreans are fighting in Ukraine. The US says 11,000 of them. Some reports say 100,000. Either way, it's a big number, especially for a country on the other side of the world. And now we get reports of Chinese nationals. Yet these could be rogue citizens. But even otherwise, China is heavily involved in this war. They are a key supplier to Russia's war machine. Whether it's semiconductors or microelectronics or dual-use goods, basically things that have civilian and military use. China has shipped billions of dollars worth of such goods to Russia. Without them, the front lines may look different. And this is new territory for China. They're basically meddling in a war all the way in Europe, away from their sphere of influence. On the other side, Japan is doing the same. Tokyo is not giving bullets or jets to Ukraine, but if you travel along the front line, you may be surprised. You will see dozens of Japanese trucks and cranes. They may not be armed, but they directly help the war effort. Japan is also looking to join the NATO command for Ukraine. This command is based in Germany. It coordinates military aid and training for Ukraine. If Japan joins, it would be a big deal.
Japan is considering joining NATO's security assistance for Ukraine, and we are planning to take the necessary procedures to participate. We consider this a significant move towards the ending of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
So as Asia is heavily invested in the Ukraine war, Asian soldiers are fighting there, and Asian equipment is being used. The opposite is also true, by the way. The NATO chief is touring Asia this week. His name is Mark Rutte. Now, NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. That's what it's called, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. You focus on both sides of the Atlantic, North America and Europe. That's the brief. So what's the NATO chief doing in Asia? Think of it as an outreach tour. Mark Rutte visited a maritime facility in Japan, and while there he took aim at China. He talked about China's recent military drills near Taiwan. He called them worrying.
You know the policies of all allies in NATO, but also when it comes to the IP4 concerning Taiwan, so that you know. And of course we are worried about all these drills and all these military exercises. So we follow them very closely and are a worrying sign, clearly.
How about that? The NATO chief slamming China in Japan. It clearly signals an expansion of NATO's priorities. But it's not new. It began in 2022. That's when NATO explicitly called China a security challenge for the first time. The same year, 4 Indo-Pacific leaders attended the NATO summit. Leaders from Australia, from South Korea, from Japan, and from New Zealand. NATO calls these the IP4 countries, the Indo-Pacific 4, IP4. They attended the NATO summits in 2023 and 2024 as well. So clearly, it is the new reality. But the question is, what sort of role is NATO eyeing in Asia? And is it sanctioned by the Americans? The alliance chief offered some clues. He says Washington asked him to undertake this trip. But the goal is not to replicate Article 5. As you know, Article 5 is NATO's mutual defense clause. It says an attack on one NATO country is an attack on all of them.
And it was the US itself which also asked me, NATO, to become even more involved. Not like Article 5 or anything like that, but in terms of joint defense, industrial capacity, base building, innovations, etc. That's one of the reasons I'm here.
That's still a broad agenda. We're talking about joint defense plans, expanding military bases and sharing innovations and technology. Basically, just short of mutual defense in Article 5. But are there takers for this plan? Well, NATO's pitch is quite simple. Look at what's happening in Ukraine. That could be East Asia's future tomorrow. This is what the NATO chief said in Japan. He's ramping up the stakes for Asian countries, almost pressuring them to sign on. Historically, Asian countries have opposed NATO, but the alliance is betting on the fear of China. And of course, Beijing knows this, which is probably why they want to keep NATO busy in Russia. All of this signals a widening of the political chessboard. The old geographical lines are getting blurred. Alliance missions are getting expanded, and far-off theatres are merging into one big front line. The last time this happened was the Cold War. Let's hope common sense prevails this time.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.